Welcome to the Seattle Investors Club podcast with Julie Clark and Joe Bauer, where we share the nuts and bolts of real estate investing from our 20-plus years in the industry. Sit back, relax, listen, and immediately take action. Are you ready? Here we go.
Welcome to the Nuts and Bolts of Real Estate podcast. My name is Joe Bauer. I'm here with my co-host, Julie Clark. Julie, how you doing today?
I am exceptionally well today, Joe. I got to put my glasses on because I'm old and I can't see you. Me and these Clark girls today, after this podcast, are heading to Lake Chelan for a few days of, recharging, little lake swimming, whatever else we're going to do. We're bringing our skateboards. Hopefully there's a skateboard park over there. We've never actually checked. But that's what we're up to. Bringing my dad, a little early Father's Day thing. You guys are probably all hearing this after Father's Day. So I hope all of you have had a fantastic Father's Day and kicked off your summer with a little fun like we are. The real reason that we're going to Chelan is because my girls just got out of sixth grade on Friday. And I'm always so busy, and I didn't plan anything great for the summer yet because of coronavirus and the kids getting shots. I wasn't sure, are they going to camps or not? All the kids are the ones carrying the thing. Do you want to send them in a crowd of kids? So it was confusing. So I booked a little bit of skateboarding camp, and then I got home on Friday after they got out of school, and I went, oh crap, I'm going to have to manage these two little gals. If I don't get my act together here, I better plan some stuff. So I immediately booked a trip to Chelan as a last minute, and a Mount Rainier trip, and some other stuff. So I don't know, maybe we can catch up with you this summer. Where are you going to be? We're going to do random stuff.
Yeah, we'd love that. I loved Lake Chelan. It's one of our favorite places, actually. So that's going to be super cool. We're down in Frisco, Colorado right now, getting ready to run the Leadville Marathon on Saturday, which will be fun, maybe. Then we're just going to be kicking around Colorado, Utah, and Arizona, maybe a little Idaho as well. Trying to ride the mountain bikes. So we'd love to catch up with you guys sometime.
Hey,
that'd be awesome.
Larry and Mariska moved to Hayden. They just bought a house in Hayden, Idaho.
I did hear that. That's
Hit
cool.
'em up. Yeah, hit them up. Well, we have another West Coaster, I guess I'll say, another outdoor enthusiast with us today. And that is our new friend, Zack Boothe. Sorry. I was thinking Zac Brown Band because I kind of got kicking back on my mind, Zach. So sorry about that. Our guest today is Zack Boothe. You guys are going to love this story, okay? And you're going to love this guy, right? We were all talking about it before we got started here. We get so many podcast booking agents coming at us with guests that 80% of the time we actually say no because it's blah, 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 same old stuff. But we have a new connection with a like-minded fellow guy here, Zack Boothe, who we're going to introduce you to today. And just a few years ago, you guys are going to love this one, Zack was a window cleaner, but a window cleaner with millions of views on YouTube, teaching people how to clean their windows. He was the master at his window cleaning system, let's say, right? So fast forward now a few years later, and Zack is now the master at something else. And you know what that is? Wholesaling. That's right. I know a lot of you guys want to get into wholesaling. You've thought about it for a long time. Today's going to be your inspiration. Maybe you're currently the master of something in your own world. And like Zack, you dream of becoming a real estate investor. So today's show is going to inspire you, going to educate you. You're going to meet a regular old guy that is crushing it and willing to share with you how he's doing that. So hopefully this is going to motivate you and take you to the next steps and your own real estate investing mastery. So without further ado, welcome to the Nuts and Bolts of Real Estate, Zack.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks for having me, and excited to get to know you guys better and be on the podcast. It's a privilege. Thank you.
Our pleasure. Well, let's kick it off, Joe, because in about 40 minutes, the doorbell is going to ring here and Buddy is going to go ape when my dad arrives. Before that happens.
Oh, nice, Zack. Well, first question we always ask people is basically, how did you grow up? Where did you grow up? And how did that lead you to where you are today? Because we love getting into the nuts and bolts of who people are. So we'd love to hear that from you.
I love that question. I think that's so important. I think when you're a young kid, a lot of the times the things that happen to you really shape you and give you a perspective to the world. So I love that. I've been on a bunch of podcasts since the first time I've been asked that. So I grew up in Utah and grew up in Salt Lake City. I didn't grow up with a lot of money. When I was 15, my parents built a nice home in northern Utah and a lot nicer neighborhoods. I went from blue collar neighborhood, super low income neighborhood to a lot nicer neighborhood. A lot of the neighbors were doctors and investors and business owners. And it was a whole different perspective, right? I went from not even knowing what name brand clothing was to feeling out of place. And so it was kind of a cool transition in my life when I was 15. I went from like money was a taboo to money was a conversation at the dinner table with these other people. And so that was like a big thing that happened to me. But I grew up working. My dad made sure that I knew how to work. My dad raised me to be a tough, independent person. He didn't, it was a good thing, but it drove me nuts as a teenager. He'd always said, I don't want excuses. I want results. Right.
Oh, you said that, Zach, because that's my world I live in. I guess I'm on the right track then, right?
Yeah. It's a healthy thing, right? It's a good perspective to have, but it really sucks when your dad's saying that to you when you're trying to make an excuse and get out of trouble, right? So it was such a good learning experience, and it really allowed me to start thinking, how can I solve a problem? Not I can't because. I started asking myself intelligent questions. So grateful for that life lesson from my father. My mom worked as well growing up. When I was about 11, she went and got her degree, and she's a registered nurse. My dad's engineer by trade and has been a project manager. He's been at the same company since he was 19. He's 62 years old. Wow. Very dedicated man. When I was a teenager, young teenager, I started working from the time I was 11. My family had a lawn mowing business. We'd mow lawns after work and after school. I do that weekends, and we spent a ton of time in the mountains as well. So we played a lot as a family, and the family business paid for a lot of those activities, but I was expected to work. I was doing door-to-door sales to sell aeration when I was 11, starting at 11. I worked a full-time crew in the summer when I was 15, running and managing a lawn mowing crew. So I was raised to work. When I was 16, my dad said, "Okay, you're a man now. You can take care of yourself financially. You can pay for your own stuff." He wouldn't co-sign a loan on a truck. He said, "If you want a truck, you'll pay cash. You borrow the truck, you pay for the gas." I paid for all my own insurance. If I wanted to play basketball, I paid for it. So the only thing I got paid for after I was 16 was housing and food. Everything else I covered. And it forced me to want to get into making a lot more money than $7 an hour. And at that point, I became an entrepreneur. And what really kind of led me to that point, though, is when I was 14, I was mowing lawns with my dad above the Capitol here. And, it's the high end area where most of the business owners live, jazz players. Larry H. Miller, at the time I met him, I used to mow the lawn across the street. He owned the Jazz. He was like the wealthy guy here in Utah. And, but anyways, I got to see the Jazz players while I was out mowing their lawns. And I remember we were cleaning this giant house and we were picking the weeds. And I remember asking my dad, it was late. It was like 7, 8 o'clock at night. And we were out there working together. And sorry, I get emotional thinking about this. I didn't even expect this. But I remember asking my dad, I said, "Dad, like, how much money do these people make?" Because we grew up in a very humble house in comparison to these houses, right? And he said, "Oh, they probably make $500,000 or more per year." And I remember thinking, one day I'm going to make $1 million a year. I just, for some reason, I said that to myself, working at these giant houses and seeing the luxuries they had. And I was like, man, they don't even have to mow their own lawn. Like, how crazy is that? And because at my house, we did everything. We fixed the roof. We did it all ourselves, right? it was just tight, right? It's just how we were raised. There's 5 of us, 5 kids. And, it was baked potatoes and venison, which is awesome, right? But we were hunters. And so we ate venison and baked potatoes. But I remember asking my dad at 14, like, how do I make more money? Dad, how do you make money? He's like, "Son, I don't know. Ask my friend Clint. He has money." And I was like, "Clint doesn't have money. His truck's ugly." He's like, "He drives an old beater truck. He doesn't have money." Because I associated money, with nice vehicles, which is 100% not the case, as many of the listeners, you guys know. But he's like, "No, son, he has a bunch of rentals and He makes a ton of money. He just spends his money wisely. So I went and asked him. I just asked him, how do you make money? And he gave me Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Interesting.
So when I was 14 years old, he gave me Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I don't think it had been out too long at that point. And I read it, and it really opened up my mind when I was that young. And I already started thinking, I want to own a business. So, I got cut off financially on my basically 16th birthday, and it sucked. I remember we were going on a trip, and, it was right after this happened, and everyone went in to get a treat, my younger brother and my parents and stuff. And I was like, Dad, will you buy me a big gulp? It was $1. He's like, nope. I told you, you're responsible for your own stuff. And I remember not wanting to spend $1 because I thought I want to spend it somewhere else. And it traumatized me. I thought my dad hated me at the time, but now is the greatest gift he ever gave me. And it started making me think, well, how do I make more money with less of my own time? So I started looking around, and window cleaning became the idea. And I started calling up people on, this was before smartphones. Smartphones came out the next year. So there just wasn't YouTube tutorials. There wasn't anything to teach me how to wash windows. There wasn't really any way to figure out how to do this except the Yellow Pages. So I pulled up the Yellow Pages, and I looked up window cleaning to see if it was even a thing. I honestly had no idea. And I looked that up. And I called up a window cleaning company and said, hey, my dad needs a bid for window cleaning. How much do you guys charge for a piece of glass? So I figured out how to price glass that way. And then I went to Home Depot and bought some squeegees and stuff. And then I just went door to door from my parents' house and started door knocking. And I built that business for a decade. I had it, by the time I sold it, we had 3 trucks and 13 employees. And, wow. I had... The bigger I got, the less profits I made because I was a novice, but I learned so much. The year we sold it, we had done just shy of $500,000 in sales in the window cleaning business. And that fiscal year, which was pretty incredible, honestly, for window cleaning. I don't know how many windows I washed, probably more than anyone should ever. And, but I got really good at it, which is silly to, what's that?
What is the key to good window washing? Is it the old newspaper trick, or?
It's a combination of things, right? We use squeegees and applicators. Your window cleaning solution is important, but I have a full YouTube window cleaning channel, right? So that's what I started putting out there. And I started the window cleaning channel not to be like, hey, look at me, look how good I am. It was literally tutorial videos for my employees. I got sick and tired of doing the same trainings over and over and over. So I just started putting out these tutorials for them. And I say, hey, go to my YouTube channel. And then all of a sudden people fell in love with it. They're like, man, this guy's so passionate about window cleaning. This is so funny. And like, there's funny comments. One of my videos has like 13 million views, and it's got like 20 something thousand comments. And a lot of the comments are something like, why am I watching this at 1 a.m? Thank you, YouTube. Like just people have no interest in window cleaning watching this thing. Right. And I ended up on the History Channel because of it. I mean, nothing I ever expected, right? They used a clip of the video because they were talking about the phenomenon of YouTube and tutorials and how you can do anything and learn everything, And so I kind of became like the guy that teaches window cleaning. Now there's a lot of YouTube window cleaning channels, but I was kind of the first to had tutorials on that. So that's kind of how, my business life and my business kind of evolved. But yeah, and then I got sick of it and moved on.
Wow. Well, let's do that. So let's talk about we'll call it your leap of faith what was your first move, that leap of faith move that you moved into real estate investing in the world that you live in now? Yeah. I mean, did something trigger it, or what was the very first action that you did,
Yeah. So I knew I needed to get into real estate. I'd read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I knew I needed to do it. I thought I was really genius and came up with the idea of house hacking, but come to find out that was a normal thing. Right. But back in 2012, I wanted to buy my first house. I was newly married. And we were just living in a basement apartment. And so I was like, okay, we got to find a duplex. We got to live on one side and rent the other. I want the rent to pay for the entire mortgage. And I found that. And it had standing water in the basement and termites. And like, it was bad. It stunk. It was horrible. But I went to work, rolled up my sleeves. I had done construction while I was growing my window cleaning business in the winter. So I had framed houses. I'd done finished carpentry. I knew how to swing a hammer. So I replaced the roof, did all new sprinkler system, got rid of the termites, new sheetrock, a lot of electrical. Like I did all of it. And I watched a lot of YouTube to figure out what I didn't know. Thank goodness for YouTube. Right. And, but we did that, and we were living to one side and renting the other. And my monthly payment was like $550 a month, including taxes and insurance. And I rented the one side for $750. And I was like, man, if I could have, 50 of these, like, I don't have to wash. I don't have to go out. My shoulder's coming apart. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Like, it sucks. I'm spending 60, 70 hours a week. I'm dealing with employees that don't want to be there. So I don't want them there. Right. Tons of turnover. It was just I just wasn't happy. I was working my butt off, and I was grateful for the opportunity to provide for my family. And like, it was cool to be my own boss, but I was working way harder than, most people. I probably would have made more money just working overtime at McDonald's. It was tough. And so I had that experience, that taste of real estate, and I wanted more. But then I hit all these roadblocks, right? Debt to income ratios, down payment requirements to buy my second rental. And it's like, okay, well, I can do the BRRRR strategy, or the house hacking, where I live in one and then, refinance some cash out and then move to the next one and move to the next one. Then my wife got pregnant. And that wasn't necessarily how I wanted to live my life either. So then that became something we stopped doing, which we did a few of those. So then I was like, now what? How do I do this?
So your first place was more of I need a place to live, and this is how I'm going to do it. You had a little exposure to the rich dad, poor dad thing. So you learned like, that would be a good idea. Yeah. But you weren't like, you were just trying to get a place to live, or were you like, okay, this is my thing, and I'm starting with this one for my own residence? Was that a conscious choice?
It was an investment, but yes, it was a place I needed to live, but I want my place to live, pay for it.
Right.
Right. Kind of the rich dad mindset, right? How do I afford it? Not I can't afford it.
Right.
But I liked it so much, I wanted more. But then as I started researching and learning more to try and buy another one, I couldn't even get the loan, and then the market started getting hotter and hotter. And then I was getting less opportunities for great rental opportunities. So then I'm like, okay, now there's just less opportunities to buy off this directly from the MLS, and my debt to income. Like, how do I get into real estate if I'm broke, right? Like, how do I go into that world? And so when I was out washing windows, like the big shift in my life was back in about 2016, the beginning of 2016. I got hungry to educate myself. I had always told myself, I had this limiting belief that I was stupid. So the only thing I could do was work really hard. Wasn't the best students. I convinced teachers to give me extra credit because they liked me to get straight A's, but I was a horrible student. I tested horrible. I should have gotten D's and F's, right? Like, it was bad. So I thought I was dumb. And I started listening to books and podcasts and like actually invest into self-education for the first time in my life. And that's when everything just started changing. No. And it's changed so fast. I've gone from, in 5 years, I've gone from making 50, 60,000 a year in my pocket to I'm making double that per month. That's
insane.
It's nuts. I have to pinch myself.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great story, right? It means, you're just a guy out there that educated himself and took a leap of faith and put in the work too, right? Yeah. So what do you think is the most common mistake you see people make when they're getting started in their real estate investing?
Number one mistake is what I did, trying to figure it out on your own, 100%, right? Podcasts, books, like such an amazing thing. You should definitely start. And then I started taking action on the things that I was learning, but I kept making these mistakes. And then I found out there's mentors that will just give you the action steps. So I've hired my first mentor, who wasn't necessarily the right person to hire. I learned a lot and it was very valuable. It was worth every penny I paid. But I got another mentor. His name's Tom Kroll. He doesn't coach anymore.
Yeah,
I love him to death. He doesn't necessarily coach wholesaling anymore, but he taught me how to wholesale. So grateful for him. But I hired him. So I actually went to my business partner. Once I had met Tom and I was like, okay, like I believe in this process, I quit. So I kind of burned my boats. I went to my business partner. I'd brought on a business partner a few years before, and I said, I quit. If there's profits, pay me profits. If not, buy me out. If not, I don't care. I'm walking away. And I did this. I joined the program the end of February 2017, and I did my first wholesale deal about the beginning of April 2017. And so, for the listener, I found a deal. I passed the deal on to an investor for a $10,000 finder fee, essentially. Yeah. And it was like, this is it. This is my thing. I'm doing this to the day I die. I freaking love it. The cool thing about it is not only now do I have the ability to make lump sums of cash on deals I find and pass to investors, but I also am the first guy to the deal. So I can cherry pick, I can build a rental portfolio. I can negotiate to get seller finance or subject to financing, taking over mortgages. Like this solved all the barriers, all the complications to get into real estate.
Somebody, was Tom your guy that you called then? Like if you got a deal and you're like, okay, talk me through this deal, this situation, you had like a mentor, that would talk you through that stuff. Right.
Yep. So he gave me steps, like he said, step 1, step 2, step 3, and he just gave me action steps. So I was following the action steps. If I had a question, they had a support system and ways to reach out, and it was everything I needed. Right. I went. So like you asked, the number one mistake is they don't get a mentor. They just try and figure it out and piece it together from all this different content, which is okay, but it's so much faster, so much more efficient to get it broken down. Like here's the steps, here's what you do, how you do it, and here's the phone number to call to get support.
But is that a paid mentor? Like you have to pay them something, right?
Oh yeah, it was $9,000. It was a lot.
Where do you get how do you get the $9,000 to even start? Right. I mean, that's the great thing. If you're listening to this, guys, you are already at the place that's going to support you, right? Yeah. You're already there. It's not going to cost you $9,000. I always say, like, plug into your local community. There's so many experienced people. I'm here for you. And then when you have a little bit of money in your pocket, move on into that type of mastery coaching, like you said, right? I don't like it when people like max out their life savings to do that off the gate, right? It's a little bit, I don't know about that part when there's, much.
That's what I did. Honestly, like I didn't have $9,000. I put a lot of it on a credit card, but I believed in the process. And, if you're going to get a mentor, I would highly suggest vetting the mentor. Right. And you shouldn't be paying $9,000. That's probably more than I should have paid. But it was worth every penny. By the end of that 8 months after I joined the program, I'd done $115,000. I mean, it was pretty darn good investment. I did just shy of $500,000 the next year, $1.2 million the next year.
Is that all in Utah that you were doing that?
Yeah, just Utah. Gotcha. And now I'm in 2 different markets doing this. We should hit anywhere between, we're already at like 800,000 so far for just this year. So we should hit anywhere between 1.5 and 2 million this year. With like a 40% profit margin. Is
that wholesale, or is that including like your profits from flips and things?
No, that's just wholesaling. That's just wholesaling. That doesn't count. I have a whole different entity for my holdings and for deals that I actually tackle. That's just my wholesaling operation.
Do you participate in Collective Genius with all those guys and gals?
I'm not part of Collective Genius. No, I am a part of I'm a part of one other mastermind. I do have one-on-one coaching. I still invest into coaching for myself and mentorship. I have advisors. I definitely believe in having a guide, giving you instruction. I mean, it's just like all of professionals, all sports professionals. So right. That's an example. I mean, they all have fundamental coaches. They have, nutrition coaches, and they have, dribbling coaches and shooting coaches and everything. They have multiple different mentors for different aspects of their profession. But I was saying, picking a mentor, you got to be careful, right? I suggest don't hire a mentor that's like brags about how many hours of video they give. Hire a mentor because they say, these are the action steps you'll follow, and this is the outcome and the time frames I expect you to get there. This is what's required of you to get there. I need you to spend this much time, this much money in marketing, and I can outline what it's going to take for you to be successful, and make sure they have successful students. Make sure not only they're successful and they're doing it, but they have consistently helped other people get to where you're trying to go. Before you pay anyone as a mentor. But I truly believe having mentorships or accountability groups or masterminds like the one you guys have, which I know is fantastic, having something to give you those action steps and help you avoid those really expensive mistakes that will discourage you and keep you from moving forward. right? Because it sucks when you spend $1,000 and you don't see anything, and then you spend another $3,000, you don't see anything, right? If you have someone there saying, no, you're on the right path, you're doing the right things, you're not going to give up.
Right. I agree. I have my own, I have a real estate basically real estate broker coaching community. And I am amazed, right, at even how the new agents, because of, I have this slogan that I say, and that is, community equals confidence. When you know you have a safety net, you have a group of people that are going to uplift you and push you forward and give you these steps, your confidence level goes up. And so you don't give up. It's amazing. I love that slogan. I should trademark it. Community equals confidence. I love that. Well, let's get into this. What's working for you today in finding deals? And has that changed in the last few years? Your website is called Driving for Dollars Mastery. Is it Driving for Dollars, or what else are you doing? What's working today to find, because we're all dead in the water without lead generation, right?
100%. Yeah, I totally believe that all real estate investing is marketing. Our product's real estate, right? Everyone thinks we're in wholesaling, or we're flippers, or we're buy and hold investors, or we're multifamily syndication. No, your business is real estate, or is marketing, right? And your product is whatever piece of real estate you're trying to find. So when I first started, I was doing a bunch of different things, banded signs, whatever I had to, and I did okay. I made $100,000 that first 12 months of really going into this, but it was like, the next 2 months after that, no deals. It dried up, and I'm like running out of money. I had quit my window cleaning job. It was my only source of income. I have young kids. My wife's pregnant, and I have another one. And I'm like, okay, what do I do? So I was like, okay, we'll have no money for marketing. So how do I get deals with no money or very little money? I was always willing to go do night jobs and fix sheetrock for people or whatever I had to come up with some money for marketing. It's ask yourself, how can I not? I can't because. And, but anyways, I was searching YouTube, of course, and for different marketing strategies to find motivated sellers. And someone talked about driving for dollars. So back then, driving for dollars equaled you drove around, you found ugly houses, wrote down the addresses, pull them up on county records. It took forever to build a list of any size. It took me a week to build a list of 97 properties. Now I find 97 properties in an hour, right? Between now and Tampa and Utah, I add 4,000 properties every single week to my marketing list. Right. So that is all of our marketing is driving for dollars. We've added a few more recently, but I've built my business 100% on driving for dollars and that system. So, yes, I believe it's the best way.
Does that mean you have a team of people driving for you, like bird dogs driving?
One person. So a lot of people think you need a ginormous team to do this. I have one full-time driver. He's not even a full-time driver. He drives 3 days a week here in Utah. And then once a quarter, I fly him down to Tampa, and he drives for a week and a half down there. And then my acquisition manager in Florida, drives like 2-3 hours a week is all. So, and then the other 2 days he's here in Utah and not driving, he's doing our text messaging, managing our CRM, putting together my KPI sheet for me to review. He runs my team meeting. So you don't need a giant team. I only have 2 acquisition managers, 2 cold callers, and my main marketing guy. That's it.
So what's the process? So, I imagine you have a pretty serious tracking system of where he's driving, so you're not driving the same areas again. Do you run out of places to drive? How does that work?
Yeah, great question. So we redrive our market every 6 months.
Okay.
Because let's say we drive it now and then we drive it again in 6 months. Well, let's say we drive through a neighborhood. Well, 6 months ago, Sally didn't get evicted and kick out the front windows. So the tenant, the landlord had to go board up the front windows, and there wasn't garbage and couches all over the front lawn 6 months ago, but there is now, right? Yeah. That seller's going to be like, I'm done being a landlord. I don't want to deal with this crap. I'm done. Take the house. I don't want it. Just buy it for what I got it for.
Yeah.
Right. 3 years ago. And it's a fantastic opportunity. Right.
Right.
So we redrive every 6 months. We use an app called Deal Machine. So Deal Machine, for the listeners, if you're not familiar with this, many of you may be, it allows you to be able to track where you've been. It'll highlight the roads you've been on. It's basically like a Google Maps image. If you ever use Google Maps on your phone, it'll track where you're at in a little dot, and you can see the houses you're driving next to, and you go, oh, that's an ugly house. And you hold your finger on the house on the map, and it'll upload all of the contact information for you in an Excel spreadsheet ready to go. So I love that technology. I spoke an event back in 2018 when they were new, and I've had the privilege and opportunity to work with them and suggest some of the updates. The route tracking software, the tap to add. Those were all things that I suggested because we were doing it at scale the old school way, which I had a huge team of bird dogs and consistency was all over the place, and I was overpaying a ridiculous amount. I mean, I pay my guys now to drive quite a bit of money. I mean, 20 an hour plus bonuses, plus, commissions, plus a bunch of other things. And when I first started off, the first 6 months, I overpaid my drivers by $70,000 in comparison to my payment structure now. I was very profitable, fine, but it definitely could have been way better. But yeah, Deal Machine changed everything for us. If you guys want to go get the app, you can use my discount code. It's PIN, PIN, to get a little bit better pricing as well if you want to.
So now you've got your list that you can download off Deal Machine, and then you direct mail it, or you cold call it, or both? What's your process?
Yeah. So when I first started, it was just postcards. And it's actually still our most of our revenue comes from postcards, but we postcard, text, and cold call now. But you don't have to do all three. That takes quite a bit of logistics to stay organized.
Right. Good stuff. Are you doing any of the, let me ask you another question, which is, so you have your system. A lot of people, are aware, I think, of, Deal Machine, and if you're not, you're missing out for sure, like you said. But do you find that obviously we always say, hey, F you, right? Follow up, right? Follow up. The key is in the follow up. Do you have a sweet spot? Is there a sweet spot on your follow-up? Like when you're reaching out to people, what's your system on, okay, you mail it out, then you text them, hey, did you get my postcard or something? I don't know what you're saying, but, just fast forward. How many touches are you doing in the first week or the first 2 weeks of the first month? And then how often after that?
Yeah. So like I said, we redrive every 6 months. So we have a 6-month marketing strategy, and then we redrive. And if it's ugly still, or, we take all that data and throw it away and start over, right? Every 6 months. And it's still extremely profitable. People think that's crazy, but I'm spending 8 cents to make $1 in Florida. 8 cents of my gross revenue goes to marketing. So my profitability is bonkers, right? 17 cents to make $1 in Utah. So I have plenty of margin.
How do you get to 8 cents? Tell me what you're talking about.
So for every $100,000 that I make in Florida, I'm only spending $8,000 on marketing.
Got it. Okay.
So that leaves me open for a huge amount of money that I can pay my team, and huge profits. Like my team makes a lot of money, but so do I, right? Like it's really, really very profitable system. So the way we break down our 6-month marketing strategy is we have it broken down to where we text and cold call immediately. We send 2 text messages. We used to send 3, but depending on your market, your response rate should be above 15% on your texting. So we start with 2 text messages, and we immediately upload it for the cold callers to call. We try and get 3 attempts on the cold caller, 2 attempts texting. Whoever we don't get a hold of, we send 2 postcards, one immediately and one 4 weeks later. And that usually ends up, we've marketed to them pretty heavy within 5 months. We've already done all the calls, texts, and postcards within 5 months.
So you're cold calling and texting them first before you send the postcard to save that money in case they respond. Are you counting a, hey, screw off response and your 15% response rate? Is that counted as a response, right? Like
we count that as a response. Yep. So text messages are first round, depending on your market. So I coach people all across the country, right? So I get to see all these conversions, and some markets will be different. I'm in 2 markets. So your response rate on your first text message, high end 30%, low end about 10%, depending on your market, competitiveness, amount of people texting, the quality of your list, all those things will affect it. Okay. The next round is actually going to be very similar to that, to a little lower. And I've seen certain markets that the third's actually higher response rate. You get a lot more go dies. I've already, leave me alone. But I've seen it where it's actually higher. The third round is higher than the second, but a lot of times it peters off to nothing. So yeah.
What do you do so you're skip tracing, I guess probably through Deal Machine, right? Is it Deal Machine?
You can skip trace through Deal Machine. I get better pricing skip tracing elsewhere. So I just export my list and skip trace it elsewhere.
Yeah.
But we skip trace with a company called batchskiptracing.com.
Okay.
And I'm like I think with my discount code is like 14 cents a phone number.
Nice.
So discount code's DFD if you guys want that.
Nice, man. I appreciate that. So what do you do when you're skip tracing? Because I do a lot of skip tracing as a real estate broker. And you don't get a cell phone number or the numbers don't work. Then you just go straight to the mail?
Exactly. If I get no data for phone numbers, exactly, that's where I'll push them out. And so all of my Driving for Dollars corporate owned properties, you can go into the back end and like go onto the federal and state websites and pull up who filed the LLC and pull it up, but have a VA do that and you can get good phone numbers. But if you skip trace just for phone numbers with an LLC, your data is so horrible, it's not financially profitable to text and cold call at that point. So then we'll just immediately, so we only send postcards to that portion of our Driving for Dollars list. And
is it basically just is there some, tricky postcard, or is it more just like, you're trying to be there when they're ready? So you're just saying, hey, it's, us, we're just looking to talk to you when you're ready to sell. We can offer you a cash offer, hassle-free, blah, 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 the same stuff.
Yes, it's just handwritten font, black and white, super simple. Right. It has, basically says hi, and then the name of the seller, right, has that blank form fill section, and then I want to buy your house and then their address. If you'd like a fair cash offer, no hassle, quick. Well, I don't exactly remember the words, but we'll buy it. Call us or text us, and we give them a phone number. That's it. I've tested all sorts of stuff.
Every time you mail them?
What's that?
Is it every post? Because you're doing more than one mailing to them, right?
Same postcard. We've tested different postcards. The only thing I haven't really tested on scale is actual handwritten letters. I'm wanting to buy one of those handwritten letter printing machines with the ballpoint pens to test it, because I believe that it'll be a little bit better. But one thing I've noticed when I've switched it up to like street image postcards or pictures of me or even selfies with me in front of houses, like whenever I change up my postcard, my response rate increases drastically. Like my response rate on that crappy postcard, it's the cheapest postcard I can find. That's why I use it. My response rate in Utah is 0.02%. It's not even 1% response rate. It's extremely low. But I've made like 180 grand in postcards so far this year, just in Utah. And, but the thing is if I change postcards, the response rate goes up, but my conversion doesn't change. My actual leads to postcard ratio doesn't change.
Right. So you're saying the whole, like, because we tried that. We did the whole, put the Google Street View image on there and all that other stuff, right? But it's more just about being there when they're ready with the message, right? Okay, yeah. Good stuff. That is just this is really gold today. We really appreciate it, Zach. So do you also do any of the, do you stick just to that and you're the master of that, or do you do a lot of the most successful guys here? We have some really successful wholesalers in our market as well. And they are definitely spending money on the PPC, the online, Google stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I'm making money off PPC and radio ads and other things as well. I've added those in. But I believe what happens is people get, they get distracted.
Yeah.
Right. They go, hey, I'm going to spend a little money here, a little money there. And they don't do anything 100%, or they don't do anything well. It's probably the best way to say it. Right. Yeah. The reason I think Driving for Dollars is the best strategy and the first strategy you should put in place is because you can scale it with a small budget. Right. Where if like you do PPC, your cost per lead is way up there. Right. You're going to be profitable. Sure. But you got to have a big budget. And a lot of these good ad agencies or digital marketing agencies, I just hired one for Florida. Their minimum spend is $7,000 a month.
Yeah.
Like I can't even sign a contract with someone unless I have 7 G's to drop a month. And they told me you got to have six months to just burn before we can really get the algorithms running. Right. And it's like, who has, what is 7 times 6? That's what, $42,000? Who has $42,000 to start? I didn't. Right. $42,000 now is kind of a gut check to be like, yeah, have fun with this. Good luck. I hope you get me a lead. You know what I mean? It's a gut check.
Hey guys, it's Julie here with a quick break from the show to discuss an opportunity some of you may have interest in, which is to work more closely with me. On almost a daily basis, I get calls from investors and brokers, both new and experienced, asking me for guidance or advice. I love helping you guys out, and it keeps me on my toes too. So with that said, I wanted to let you know that I have a private broker coaching community called the VIP Education Community. And the best part is that it's 100% free. That's right, it's free to join. So whether you're a traditional broker or a broker investor, my VIP education community offers personalized one-on-one coaching from not just me, but also from my experienced broker friends with expertise in all disciplines of real estate and real estate investing. We'll teach and share our modern marketing strategies, our tech and lead generation resources, plus teach you how to identify or offer up opportunities for yourself or for your clients using techniques such as seller financing, lease options, land entitlement deals, BRRRR investing, flipping, multifamily or commercial coaching, whatever you like. We've got it all covered for you. The future of real estate is changing fast, and to stay in the game, it's time to learn about all the options you can offer your buyer and seller clients, as well as, if you want, learn how to use those skills to grow your own real estate portfolio. If you'd like more details about joining my VIP education community, reach out to me at julie@seattleinvestorsclub.com or text me at 206-910-2985 or just send me a Facebook message. My new favorite phrase is community equals confidence. So let's navigate the future of real estate together. Now, back to the show. Let's move on real quick because I don't want to run out of time, because we want to push people to, they're going to be able to follow you and engage with you after this for sure. I know you guys are all like, this guy is awesome. He's sharing. We love people that share, right? And you are, we judged it right. You're a good dude, and we appreciate all your time today. So tell us about your technique that's working for you. Like negotiating. What's your negotiating tips once you actually get somebody on the phone?
Yeah, I'm actually going to mention something they can just go watch and see it in action. So I wanted to show people what it looked like from scratch, starting from scratch, because I know not everyone has my budget. They're not built out a business. They don't have a team. They're not where I'm at, right? It's not even relatable. But I was where you were. I was a window cleaner. I was broke. I had a family to take care of. I was stressed. I was paying for food, right? It was scary. And so I wanted to show people what it took, that it's hard work. You've got to work your butt off. It's stressful. It's scary, but it is 100% possible to change your life in a short amount of time. So what I did is I flew to Florida. I took $1,000. This is before I opened up my Florida market. This is actually how I opened it, is the start of the 40 grand challenge. But the goal was to take $1,000 and turn it into 40 grand in 40 days, going to a whole new market where I've never even been. I had never even been to Tampa. So I flew to Tampa, rented an Airbnb in a car, and I had $1,000. Goal was to turn it into 40 grand in 40 days. And I had a film crew follow me and share it for free on my YouTube channel. So you guys can see step by step, day by day, how this works. So day four of the challenge, I'm cold calling, and I found a super solid lead that night turned into 3 contracts. Guy's name was Jerry, successful, wealthy investor, just wanted to be done with the properties. And you hear me say, Jerry, you fixed them up. They sound fantastic. Why don't you just list them with an agent? And he said, I don't care. I want them gone. And I was like, aha, that's a lead. That's money, right? I'm serving this person. He knows 100% he can get more money. I'm not taking advantage of him. He's done more deals than me probably, right? And so I wanted to show people that was possible. So if you want to see my negotiation strategy, you can just go to day 4. But I really highly suggest, if you want to see Driving for Dollars, what it takes to get started. I don't want to be a complete spoiler, spoil the whole thing. But I made 93 grand in that amount of time.
Wow.
And 10 of those days I ended up in Brazil because my family got stuck there with COVID and father-in-law was hospitalized.
Oh, geez. Sorry.
So I did 2 deals while I was in Brazil. One of them was the big deal at 53,000. So I was able to do 2 deals virtually while I was there.
You guys are going to hook up, and we will be dropping in the show notes how people can get onto that video here. Yep. Hey guys, if you're liking this, again, we say no to so many people that want to come on our podcast, because we are seeking people like Zach. If you appreciate that, please give us a good 5-star review, a like, hit the subscribe button or whatever, however Joe tells you to connect with us. We would appreciate it so we can get more people coming to us, so we can vet out the great people like Zach, who's joining us today. This has been super awesome. I'm going to keep going on here, guys, because I got to get to Chelan. Let's put it that way. So, hey, Zach, what like podcasts or books or what do you like who do you like to learn from today? Right? We all get the benefit of having YouTube and podcasts rich these days. Is there anybody that you continue to listen to that you find puts out good content? I'm sure you do. Hopefully you guys all think we do, but who else? I mean, everybody knows about Bigger Pockets and
yeah. The thing is the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know anything, right? Yeah. It kind of like opens up the world of like, oh, wow, I didn't even know that existed. Now I know something that I didn't even know existed. Now I know something that I know that I don't know. So it just you keep evolving, right? And so one thing that I've been super, super interested in that intrigues me is a few things. Leadership. So I'm reading a book right now called Not How. Not How. I just picked that up. I started reading it last night. I read 3 chapters. I was up to like 1. I'm so excited for the new book. So I'm reading that. And then I'm also part of a mastermind group for coaches to make me a better coach and to serve more people. And I'm also really interested and intrigued in psychology and how people process information, what motivates people, what encourages people to take action. Because I fell in love with coaching. I know we didn't talk about this much, but I absolutely love coaching and helping people and teaching people. I mean, I didn't even know, but like just my window cleaning YouTube tutorials, they blew up because I just have this natural tendency and love for explaining and teaching.
Yes.
And
I feel you, because I am the exact same way.
Yeah. There's such a helper's high, right?
Yeah, there's something, it's better to give than receive, right? It's actually true. It is true. Absolutely. Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time educating myself on how to teach, how to serve, how to speak, how to do those things. So that's something that I'm currently spend a lot of my time in self-improvement education there. And of course, working on my belly is a never-ending self-improvement responsibility. So
well, then you need to be following Joe on all
sounds like it.
project. Right. Joe,
sounds like
all that stuff. There's a bunch of people that want their belly to look better and their fitness. So Joe's going to drop down today also, which he doesn't do very often. Joe, drop the links to the Get Better Project and all your other stuff so people can follow you and stay healthy while they are getting healthy with their business systems and real estate podcasts and all that other stuff. So we're going to wrap it down here. So Zach, what's the best way for people to engage with you? Joe's going to link in the challenge video. But aside from that, is there like a website they should check out, YouTube stuff? Tell us all the good details there.
Yeah. So everything I have is branded Driving for Dollars Mastery. So if you're just curious about me, you can Google that or my name. But my website is drivingfordollarsmastery.com. In there, you can call
DFD. Is it spelled out? I think it's DFD.
I think I probably own both URLs. Okay, gotcha. So you can search DFD, stands for Driving for Dollars, right? DFD Mastery or drivingfordollarsmastery.com. But if you go to the website, you can book a call with me and talk to me. I don't take all those calls because I just can't with my time, but I take as many as I can to talk to you about what your goals are, what you're trying to do. But I also have a link to my new podcast I launched last week, which I'm super excited about. So we're doing a couple episodes a week, but there's a link to that podcast on the website as well. And then you can follow me everywhere: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. I have a full-time videographer. We are busy creating content to help people. So
great. Awesome stuff. Really good stuff. Well, if it's fun for you, I would love this. This is my trick. You fell right into my lap here, Zach, on my trick on how I trick people. So every Thursday, Pacific time here, Seattle time, from 11:30 to 12:30, we host a weekly mastermind. It's basically, I hate to use the word term collective genius, but that's what it is. There's no agenda or anything. We show up. Anybody who touches real estate, could be, conventional lenders, private money lenders, hard money lenders, people that are buying holds, people that are flipping, new builds, brokers, property managers, 1031 people that are experts at structured sales, as some people might say, or seller financing stuff, all that. And we just talk to each other every week for an hour. We have people coming, people that are doing, rent by the room type of stuff, or anything goes, right? And it'd be great if you wanted to pop in sometime and join us. We can get you that. We'll connect with you and we can get you the link. It's just how you guys grab that is you just go to meetup.com for Seattle Investors Club, and you just grab the link and paste it into your calendar there for every Thursday, because it never changes. So that way you can be alerted to join us every Thursday or whenever you can join us. And it's free, totally free. You don't need to be a member of Seattle Investors Club or any of that stuff, but we do record all those meetings. So if you do decide later on that you want to join Seattle Investors Club, you can actually get access to all those weekly recordings where we drop major nuggets and help each other. Just, people talking about stuff going on in real estate market and what's working, and you name it. It's amazing to me. It's the best thing I ever did was start doing that consistently and show up and plug in with everybody like that. Right. And so if you want to join us sometime, Zach, that would be super cool. And if you do, I'll promote it. And because we know we sure have a lot of people that would be interested in getting to know you better and wholesaling and stuff like that.
I'd love to join in.
Yeah. Well, that's it, guys. We're going to wrap it up. And I want to remind you guys all that, the best thing you can do is plug in, right? Plug in with other people that have the experiences that are going to give you that roadmap, tell you the action steps, right? To do that. And, Zach is our new friend that is going to be able to cover that for you on the wholesaling side of the business, right? I'm your friend. If you're a broker, you want to get your real estate license. Joe and I also, of course, have done a lot of wholesaling, just like Zach has done over the years. Now I focus on brokerage and coaching brokers, which can do both, right? You can do both, right? I won't go into the details today, but if you ever want to ask me about that, reach out to me at my cell, 206-910-2985. Shoot me a text or email me, julie@seattleinvestorsclub.com, or show up on a Thursday, right? And let's just talk. We cover everything there, even multifamily, commercial. We got you all covered, whatever you guys need. So, Joe, anything else that we want to add today? Do we need to do any administrative stuff here or let anybody know anything? Where can they find the details of today's spectacularly awesome podcast here with Zach? This is a good one,
Yeah.
Zach.
As always, guys, if you like this, please give us a thumbs up. And if you really liked it, subscribe. We'd love that. And like Julie said earlier, depending on where you're listening or watching this, any kind of reviews are always helpful. If you want to get to the show notes, you can find them on YouTube down below the video, or you can go to our website at seattleinvestorsclub.com/146, and you'll get all the details and get all the links that Zach mentioned and all that good stuff.
I want to say I do have a little admin piece. We are looking for podcast guests. We're going to get back to My First 3 Deals series that we did a while back. You guys can find all those, of course, on our YouTube page or your favorite podcast listening place, where we talk to just average people. When I say my first 3 deals, if you have done 7 or 8 deals or less, we want to hear from you and learn just exactly what your experience has been. People want to hear from normal people learning this business and the ups and the downs and the wins and the failures. So if that sounds like you, it's a great way, again, to put yourself out there to maybe get some deals, let people know who you are with our help. So please reach out to me again, julie@seattleinvestorsclub.com or joe@seattleinvestorsclub.com, and let us know. We'd love to have you on the show. Or if you have anybody that you think would be great, let us know, right? We want to talk to, the people that you guys want to talk to and hear from. So that's all I got today. And other than that, next time you see me, I might have a sunburn, We'll see. Hopefully not actually, but other than that, you guys, Zach, thanks again. Joe, be safe on the road as usual. And Zach, we hope to see you again sometime soon. We'll plug everybody into your website and all your, I'm going to go watch it. I'm going to go watch it while I'm at the lake. I'm going to go watch your 40-day challenge while I'm at the lake. That's what I'm going to be doing. So, all right, guys, that's all I got today. Thanks for showing up, everybody. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks so much.
See you, Zach.
Thanks for listening to the Seattle Investors Club podcast. If you have questions that you'd like to have answered on the show, shoot us an email at info@seattleinvestorsclub.com. Now go out, take that action, and build that real estate business. Thanks for listening.